Where is Debbie?
Deborah is nearly here.
Does she not understand what time we start these?
Is this hair and makeup?
She's such a diva.
No, she's not in hair and makeup. She's driving.
He buried the lead on that one, Ralph.
All right. 3, 2. Well, let me get in there.
You just cannot get this opening right.
It's
all he's got to do is say 1, 2, 3. That's all he's got to do.
I got to do it backwards. That's
it's great.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Yippee-Ki-Yay, Mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast. I'm Ralph Quattrucci.
I'm Sean Paul Murphy.
I'm Deborah Murphy.
I am John Quattrucci.
I'm Chris Coker.
And I'm starting to get upset that we have all these dead celebrities and there's still no Q Brothers episode for me to get my reflection together on it.
Like I said, I'm glad we held out a little bit since 3 gangsters have died.
Yeah.
And I think it'll make a very
They're dropping like flies in Hollywood. It's getting
Well, what
scary.
I'm glad is we didn't do one immediately because we would have said Tony Dow was dead.
That's right.
And then his wife came out and said he was alive.
Yeah, well, there you go. We'll have it. It'll be out soon.
Sure, like that.
That's on me. That's on me. I'm dragging my feet a little bit.
It's okay. You got a lot going on, Ralph.
I got all my new equipment. I got my new Sony Watchman.
You got 2 houses. You got a Sony Watchman?
Yeah, that's what that little guy back here is. This one.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Still able to broadcast.
Wow.
How's everybody? How's the week? 2 weeks? 2 weeks with pay? How's it going?
2 weeks.
2 weeks with pay. Okay.
2 weeks
Yeah.
with pay. All right. Debbie just came back from the dentist. You going to be able to do this movie, Debbie?
Yes.
You got Novocaine or did they gas you up? Talk to me. What did they do?
Novocaine. Guess what I had? Guess what I had? One thing.
You had what?
I'm long in the tooth.
Oh.
I had a
just
tooth
like this
lengthening.
podcast.
Did they yank it or just fill
Lately.
it?
No, you have to, it's complicated.
Okay. Let's not talk about that.
They lower your gum to put a kind of a crown on it.
Oh, that's awesome. And John's tan is just amazing. John, you look so healthy.
Wait a minute. Whoa, what's that? Whoa, look at that. It's jealousy rearing its ugly head. Did you guys see that?
Not really.
Wow.
Not really.
Wow.
All right. Let's do a round of what'd you watch. John, let's start with you.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm going to take a Drew approach because I watched 2 things that I was very excited about. For those of you who saw Inventing Anna, there's a 4-episode series called Bad Vegan.
Yeah.
What a freak show. And again, it's about a woman who opened up a vegan restaurant in New York, and she was pretty famous, and she fell under the prey of a con man. But after watching the show, I'm not quite sure she wasn't in on some of it. She really played the victim card, like the guy just totally snowed her, but she did too much that she had to have known something was going on. But it's only 4 episodes. It's a very quick watch, so I recommend it. The other one I watched was The Gray Man with Ryan Gosling.
How was that?
Which I loved it. And it was a no-brainer action. It reminded me of the 80s action movies. Ryan Gosling was great in it. Chris Evans playing totally against type as the villain was really funny and dangerous. And the actress who was in the Bond movie, what's her name?
Oh, de Armas.
Anna de Armas.
Yes, she was in it too. She was great.
She's great.
But it was directed by the Russo brothers, who did Avengers Endgame and Infinity War and my favorite Marvel movie, Captain America: Winter Soldier. But it's just nonstop action. It was a big budget. I think it was $200 million, and it was made for Netflix. Wow. It's just a great shut your brain off, no message, no, you know me, I'm always talking about the woke stuff. There was none of that in it. It was just high octane action. And he was very good in it. I mean, if you've seen him in Drive, remember how he was so he barely spoke in it.
Right.
In this movie, it was the opposite. He had one-liners. He was very affable. But I recommend it. So if you get a chance, if you like good action, check out that film. And it's totally implausible. He's getting shot and stabbed and all this other stuff, but he survives. So so you got to suspend your disbelief quite a bit. But I really enjoyed it. It was I think it was 2 hours. It was a fast 2 hours. I really enjoyed it. So those are the 2.
Have you seen him in The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe?
I did. I liked him in it. Yeah, I like him. He's very funny. He's going to play Ken in the Barbie movie. So he's funny. But he's also, he's jacked in this movie. He does all the fight scenes. He's really athletic. It's just fun. Ralph, knowing you and Brad Pitt, you're going to love this.
I don't know. I love Gosling, but not in that way. I don't
Well,
know.
Ralph, I would
Not
urge
in that
you
way?
to go back to Drive, and you said that he was brooding in that.
Brooding.
I think the movie. I think it's really a great movie.
I
think it's actually more exciting and real to watch it if you think that he's cognitively disabled.
Oh,
The whole movie. I don't
Maybe.
mean that as a joke.
No,
I mean,
no.
if
I see what you're saying.
realize
Sure.
like, oh, this dude is slow.
Yeah.
Like he has like an
Yeah.
intellectual disorder.
Could be.
Everything in the movie with his behavior makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, I
great.
never
I
looked
loved
at
him
it
in
that
that
way.
Saturday Night Live skit where he was obsessed about the Avatar font. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Where he attacks
funny.
the guy.
Oh, when the alien took the woman up in the ship.
No.
and they're all
That's
sitting
funny.
there,
No, he does the whole
and
thing.
he can't stop
He's-
laughing.
No, he's upset about the font that the Avatar because it came right out of Microsoft Office or something. So great. All right, Drew, what'd you watch?
Well, I gave myself a little Prime Day present. There were a number of movies that normally are $5.99 to rent, and they were only $2.99 to rent.
Oh wow.
So I rented 4 of them. One of them I already forgot it was Red Rocket, which was an interesting movie with Simon Rex and his giant penis from the director of the Florida Project. That was it was pretty good.
Penis.
But I watched one that was a Ralph recommendation called X, which it's very Thai West, in which it's slow. The violence is very nasty. I liked it. I don't know that I'll see it again, but I have a lot of respect for what he's doing. And there were a couple things that jumped out at me. The couple that's in the movie, it's an old couple. The guy who he plays the husband, there's a lot of makeup there, but he looked so familiar and I couldn't figure out. His face had these like really square angles to it and stuff. And then I realized in the Lord of the Rings movies, in the Two Towers, there's some orcs that are going to eat the hobbits. And the most disturbing orc who licks his lips and is about to actually eat our heroes, that's that actor. And I was like, oh, no wonder there's another layer of being unsettled. But I mean, speaking of the makeup, the old age makeup is really impressive.
Yeah.
Because Mia Goth plays the lead and she plays the old woman. And there's a scene where she gets into bed with herself, essentially, like the actress is playing both roles. And you forget that you're looking at someone, different person. It's not quite as extraordinary as like Orphan Black, where she's playing 5 roles in one scene, kind of thing. But it was good, and I liked the blood spray on the headlights. That was fun.
Yeah.
But the other rental, I decided to go back in time to the mid '90s, mid 2000s, when movies were giant disaster movies, and they made jillions of dollars, and you saw them in the theater and all that stuff. And Roland Emmerich made a movie that I didn't know existed, that they didn't market. It's called Moonfall, because the moon is going to fall into the earth. And it cost $140 million. It's apparently one of the biggest box office bombs ever in the history of movies ever. And it is real bad.
Is that the one with Halle Berry?
Yeah, Halle Berry,
Academy Award
Patrick
winner.
Wilson. Yeah, Academy Award winner
Yeah.
Halle Berry and Patrick Wilson and a number of other familiar faces. And it's weird because it's still like these old fashioned disaster porn movies, but it's got all these extra things happening for no reason that makes sense. And they managed to, I think they shot a lot of it in the volume, like the Batman and the Mandalorian, and it doesn't look good, which is bad. But there's certain scenes where you're like, those effects are obviously really expensive, like really expensive. But the people who did them did a terrible job. Yeah. So it's just such a weird thing to see the money on the screen and to see it so poorly spent. So Moonfall, I don't know that I'd recommend it, but I'm glad it didn't cost me an extra $3. Did it what?
Did it come out during COVID or something?
I came out earlier this year, but they didn't market it. So
I was about to say, I'm surprised
bomb.
I didn't hear from it. But didn't he also do that really bad weather movie? And I'm not thinking about The Day After Tomorrow. Well,
No,
the one where they put a dome around the world or something.
Is that Geostorm?
Yeah, Geostorm.
So that was Dean Devlin, who he did those movies with back in the 90s. So
Dean
it's
Devlin
come from
produced
the
them.
same-
That was horrible.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
that was terrible.
Moonfall was just bad all around. Like even Patrick Wilson riding a motorcycle in Griffith Park, that was all green screen, and you could see it. It's just dumb. But
No, it wasn't even green screen. It was the volume, which has proven that it could look like a real
good.
landscape,
Yeah,
and it just
yeah.
didn't. It was so weird. It was so bad. It's so bad. So that's what
you
I
don't recommend that. Okay.
I Prime Dayed myself this past week, and it was.
Was that worth the $2.99? Probably not.
Oh, totally. I mean, I watched it, on the big screen in the basement, and I had a good time. It's not boring. It's just really bad.
It's terrible. Right. All right, Chris, you want to talk? You need more time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. Well, I did my homework and I watched The Green Knight. I had not seen it. I'm a big fan of Arthurian films and just the legends in general. But I was actually really unfamiliar with the tale of Gawain and the Green Knight, so I really enjoyed the movie. It's really strange, really different. I could see, I listened to the episode and I could see how a lot of people would think, well, maybe he's just dead all along, especially from that point where he gets robbed. Especially because, like, at one point I was like, did I fall asleep? Because I noticed he had the axe back, and I was like, wait a minute. I thought they took that. I thought they made a big production of them taking that. So I actually had to rewind it, and I was like, no, he just suddenly has it again. But I really did kind of like the way that it kind of, played with the perception and everything like that. I enjoyed it, and obviously it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's a really beautiful film to watch. So I watched that, and then real quickly, don't ask me why, but I actually rewatched in bits and pieces the entire Before trilogy. That's Before Sunrise, Sunset, and Midnight. I'm a huge fan of Ethan Hawke, and I just really like those films. I think Richard Linklater's terrific. Funny thing is, I remember when before the second one came out, I was really disappointed. I never saw it. Didn't see it. Just was like, you know what? I like the fact that at the end of the first film, you don't know what happens and it's up to you. So I didn't want to know. And I did not actually get around to seeing the second film until I heard that they were making a third. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, if they're making a third, it's part of a thing. So I had to go back and see the second film, which is pretty terrific. I mean, they're all. I like all of them. I could watch Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy just kind of walk around and talk for hours.
What's the gap between the first and the third one? How many years?
It's exactly the same amount. It's 9 years between each film and 9 years in the story of the film as well. Which is, and I'm sure people have done it before, but I feel like that was the first time that we've seen a lot of those movies where they say, hey, we're going to make a sequel many, many years later, and we're going to have it be the same amount of time in between, Like
Top Gun Maverick?
Or Tron Legacy.
Oh, there you go.
Speaking of David Warner.
They call them, I've heard a new term.
He wasn't in Tron Legacy.
Legacy sequel?
Legacy sequel? What? Legacy sequel?
Legacy sequel. Yeah.
Am I the only one hearing a bell? Are you guys hearing a bell?
No, I think you're having a stroke.
That's you.
It's hard to hear it over your chair squeaking. I don't know if I can hear the bell, but your chair's squeaking all over the place too.
Sorry, that's my wife texting me that Ethan Hawke sucks, and it's coming through the.
She hates Ethan Hawke.
Oh, you think she doesn't care?
There it is again. Put that on silence, Jesus. She really hates Ethan Hawke.
But it's coming through the computer. That's the thing.
Okay.
It's like it's an Apple computer, Apple phone, so
wow.
it's all
so you can't change anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So he did this 9 years apart. He did Boyhood, right, which took that movie from.
Yeah, well, that was the one where they basically just got together and shot for like a week or two every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Linklater's busy.
Yeah. Linklater's really big on time.
I've never seen that trilogy, and it's supposed to be really good.
It's definitely worth your time.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I saw the first one. Didn't really want to see the other ones.
Oh,
but you're right. Suddenly, when it's a trilogy, it seems like it was all thought out.
Yeah, and it wasn't. But I think what's part of this, and this is something that my wife is a little bit younger than me. I think is part of the thing is that Ethan Hawke and his character in the films and I are essentially the same age. I think he's technically a year older than me. So being kind of a Gen X 90s guy, Ethan Hawke is kind of like our spirit totem man for the.
But your wife hates Ethan Hawke.
Yeah. Oh, she.
What is that?
Brad Pitt is fantastic compared.
Oh my God. Yeah. All right, Sean and Debbie.
Okay, I gotta go because this guy that his name is B.J. Novak. You guys know him?
He's a writer. He wrote on The Office.
The Office.
He did, but he is the author that wrote this compilation of short stories that blew my mind. and I couldn't remember his name, but I have
That should be surprising.
His name wasn't even Rita, but I really could not believe it. B.J. Novak.
Oh, I thought it was Hayward.
He's got this new series out. It's called The Premise. It is mind-blowing. It is so good. As a matter of fact, when I watched it, it hit me. The second story in the I'm not done with it. I'm up to 3, but it hit me bad. I mean, it just like shunted me to this aching in my soul. You know, I could just feel it. It's so powerful and so good. It really is fabulous.
That's a TV show, The Premise, or a book?
It's a TV show, a series, and it's on
somewhere on TV.
It's on the It's on
Hulu.
Service.
It's a streaming service.
Thank you.
I think
It's on Hulu.
Thank
you. Thank you, Drew.
You're welcome.
What's it
What
on,
do you say,
Drew?
Drew?
The Hulu.
Yeah, that's Hulu.
It's
Oh
on
my
the Hulu.
Oh
I
my
don't know if
gosh,
they would have
it's
let them
so
do
good.
the butt plug episode on Peacock. So
Yeah. Oh,
on Hulu.
you've seen it then,
Mhm.
Drew.
It's an anthology.
Did you
can
see it,
watch
Drew?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. He's
Well, I'll
such
tell
a-
you what, I didn't watch much because over the weekend I got finally a Kindle. And it was funny because some of my grandkids were here. Well, here's what's amazing. I just want to say this. You know, it's an Amazon product. And I've been downloading books to my phone, but always found it very awkward and ungainly to read them on it. So when I decided I'd get a Kindle, and it's like, do you want your Amazon account hooked up to it? And I'm like, sure, why not? Save me some time. So I order it, and it's on Saturday, and it comes to my house in a couple hours. And not only does it have like all my Amazon stuff in it, it even was linking to my internet. It knew my internet password.
What, you didn't have to put in your password?
I didn't have to put in any passwords. They were all in there.
I would change my password.
Yeah. Jesus.
Well, you know, that was it. The only thing it didn't was because it hooks up to the website Goodreads, and it wasn't hooked up to that. But then I went to my computer and looked at it, and I had changed the password on some device, so it wasn't. I bet you if it were my password were correct on my computer, it would probably hooked up to that. But I tell you what, it was funny because I had some of the grandkids here, and the box arrives. They're like, "Oh, Grandpa, what is it?" And I go, "Oh, it's a Kindle." They're like, "Well, who is it for?" I go, "It's for me." They're like, "No, Grandpa, who is it really for?" I go, "It's for me." They're like, "Is it Mara? Or did you buy it for Mara?" One of the other grandkids. I go, "No, I actually got something for myself." So that came as a shock to them that I actually ordered something for myself. So, and I will admit it's much easier reading. And
Oh, of course. You can
gone
change the
through
font
2
on it
books
too, make it
already.
bigger.
And I've got to do a lot of reading because a lot of authors have read my books, and they're reading my 3rd one, which is in beta reading now. And so I want to read all their books too. And it was just, you know, I don't want to read it on the computer, and I don't want to read it on my phone. So now I got the Kindle.
Okay.
Yeah, I
so
love
what
my
you're saying
Kindle.
is you didn't watch anything. You read a lot on your Kindle.
Yes, I don't know whether that makes me more or less educated.
Oh, I think it makes you more educated. It's just got nothing to do with our show. Ralph,
Hey.
how about
We're
you?
an entertainment show.
Oopsie.
All right. I'm finishing up Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul has 3 episodes left, and the show, one of the best written, acted, performed show I've ever seen on television. It's amazing.
Better than Breaking Bad?
It's the same. I mean, it's the same. The choices they make, the way they tell the stories are just amazing. But the big one was I went and saw Jordan Peele's Nope.
Oh, I want to see that.
Theaters.
How is it?
And
It's amazing. I would suggest not reading anything about it. Don't look at it. Don't listen to any reviews. Just go in there cold. It's really well done. Jordan Peele's amazing. You know, he's got a lot of subtext, of course, in his movies, and this one's loaded with it. But it's also, and you can pick the scenes out as you watch it, homages to every great directed film you've ever seen. And, you know, as it relates to, I like blockbusters, Jaws, Shining, all that stuff.
Ninth configuration.
9th configuration. But go in cold, because if I had known what was going on, I think it might have wrecked it a little bit. And I just liked not knowing anything about it. And I loved it. So it's
Yeah, I was
highly
trying to figure
recommend
out what the hell it's about from the trailer, and I couldn't.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I like that
And
about the trailer. I like that. I said
It's good that
I'm
they didn't
totally
do that.
intrigued, but I don't know what's going
yeah,
on.
it's good
That's
that they
pretty
didn't give it
uncommon.
away, because when you get in and watch it, you just enjoy it. Because he tangents, he does some stuff that all relate to each other ultimately, and it's just
But it's
it's one of
getting
those
great
that
reviews.
it's one of those that you go home and you start reading and looking at all kinds of stuff to figure out what he was doing. And there's definitely a scene in there that I just turned to Maria and I said, this is the exact copy from this film. And I loved it. Right down to the characters and everything. So take a look at that one. It's really, really well done. Jordan Peele is an amazing director, writer. He wrote, direct, and produced this one.
And you liked his last two movies, I presume?
I liked Get Out a lot. I
Mhm.
liked Us not as much as I like Get Out. I thought Us had some good things to say and do. And I think this one, it's just you got to see it. I don't want to talk about it without you guys having seen it, because there's a lot of things to talk about. So check that one out if you can go.
Do you think Tony Dow would have liked it?
He may be watching it now because he's not dead. They might be streaming it to
That's
him.
true. He could be.
It could be the last film he ever watched. I don't know.
Nope.
But it's got Stephen Yeun from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That guy from Get Out is the main lead.
Daniel
Keith
Kaluuya.
David's in there. There's a lot of good stuff with new actors too that I had never seen. There's one guy, a grizzled guy, playing a cinematographer who just nails a cinematographer. And you've seen this guy in a lot of shows, and he's just fantastic. And they make a reference to a song from the 50s that the way they use it is just great. So you got to check it out. It's really well done. So Debbie has brought a film to the table. Debbie, what'd you bring?
I brought Notting Hill with Hugh Grant, Julia Roberts as the leads, and the director is Roger Michell, and the writer is Richard Curtis.
Who also wrote and directed what film?
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yes.
About Love Actually.
Love Actually. So this
About
is
See,
this.
this one, you hadn't seen this, had you, Ralph?
I had seen it a long time ago, but I forgot all about it.
This is my favorite rom-com.
Okay,
It has
really,
all
your
the-
favorite?
Wow.
Your favorite?
It is my favorite.
Okay.
Well,
And
do we want to watch the trailer?
yes,
or do we...
could be please.
Yeah, let's take a look at the trailer, and then we'll talk about it after.
A very ordinary boy bumps into a girl and takes her home.
The bathroom's on the top floor.
It happens all the time. But she is no ordinary girl. She is Anna Scott, the most famous film star in the world. And when they get together, everyone has something to say.
Anna Scott. Anna Scott. Anna Scott. Hello, Anna. Scott.
Hi, guys. Oh, Jesus, fuck.
They always do that when I leave a house. This is a peculiarly strange person to have got involved with.
It's not Fergie, is it? You must be Spike.
Thank you, God. I don't want to interfere on anything, but she's in your house.
Yes.
Well, isn't this perhaps a nice opportunity to slip her one?
Spike.
But when two worlds collide
I live in Notting Hill. You live in Beverly Hills. Everyone in the world knows who you are.
and the news is bad
Tomorrow, there'll be pictures of you in every newspaper in your goddamn underwear.
and getting worse,
I went out in my goddamn underwear too.
Get out.
how does an ordinary boy
Let's stay calm.
No, you ain't stay calm.
keep the most famous girl in the world?
The fame thing isn't really real. I'm also just a girl,
Standing in front of a boy.
asking him to love her.
You daft prick.
The creators of 4 Weddings and a Funeral invite you to join Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant in a place called Notting Hill.
I wouldn't go outside.
What did you guys think?
Great.
Right, I love that trailer.
Snapshot.
You know what? She takes my breath away every time I
It really
see that.
does. Your favorite rom-com. All right, let's describe it first, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, it opens with this song is one of my favorite songs by Elvis Costello. It's my one of she. It's just so sweet, and it's every girl who's ever loved a boy. That's what she envisions her boy saying to her, being all that to her. You don't have to have that. And that's how you feel, to be, somebody's dog's barking. Drew.
No, it's not
no,
mine.
it's John's. It's right outside your door. John.
Oh, okay.
Go deal with that.
But,
Nakima,
What I loved most about the film, speaking of, since you brought up the very first song, was the subtle use of songs in this movie. Oh my God.
But see,
let's just say on the nose.
Well, let us say at least they use alternate versions.
Wait.
use alternate versions, and only once.
Wait a minute. For people who haven't seen it, Debbie, you need to give a little synopsis of what the movie's about.
So
I thought you just did.
No, she didn't.
It's a Cinderella story, and Hugh Grant is Cinderella, and he's just beautiful. I mean, he's just so handsome, and so the word erudite comes to mind.
Okay.
And she's a little prickly. She's a little prickly.
What is she in the movie?
In the movie, she's a little prickly.
But what is she playing in the movie?
Debbie, I love you, but this is the worst movie synopsis I've ever heard.
I would go something like, modest bookstore owner meets a famous movie star.
I know this story. So they get together, and a lot of
who gets together?
Hugh Grant.
Debbie, let me just take 1 second. Let me just back up for a second. Yeah. This movie is about one of the most famous movie stars in the world, played by Julia Roberts, who bumps into Hugh Jackman, who owns a bookstore, and through a confluence of events, Hugh Grant, excuse me. What did I say? Hugh Jackman.
Which
they
would be
meet.
Interesting.
We are so off the rails.
They fall in love. And it's the ups and downs of that relationship, and it's a beautiful love story. Okay, Debbie, now get into whatever you want to talk about.
Your feelings now, Debbie, about the film.
Yes,
Hey, she mentioned the writer and director.
She did.
She also said best rom-com she ever saw.
Well, that's I could see that.
Okay. We'll talk about
the music, and the one scene is my favorite scene.
Okay, we're supposed to guess the scene.
Guess
the scene.
Okay.
Just a boy in front of a girl.
It's that one.
No.
Oh,
wow.
It's when. What's her skinny boyfriend's name? What's the skinny guy that lives in the house?
Spike.
I love Spike.
Sees Julia Roberts in the bath and comes out and he says, "Thank you, God." That's your favorite.
It is a religious reference.
Yeah, no. It's the one where
it's the most famous scene in the movie. Maybe
Grant. It's just lovely because he's standing there. He just breaks up with Julia, and it's just tragic. And he's walking in the summertime, and he's got his shirt, and it's nice, and it ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
That's not on the nose.
And
not even
then it just moves through the series of
seasons.
Yeah,
seasons
to show the passage of time.
Right.
In one tracking shot,
and it's just beautiful. And when it gets cold, and Hugh Grant, he's got his jacket, and he just. You could feel the chill in that soul, it just really feels like, when you break up, it hurts. And he goes through the seasons and it just hits you, how it takes about a year to recover because everything that Christmas or Thanksgiving or, whatever holiday, 4th of July, you go through without that person. And that aches. That's an aching thing. And it just really shows that. And I think everybody's experienced at least one breakup. I don't know anybody who's gone through life without having tragic loss like that.
Right.
A broken heart.
That's way too easy. So let's just move along.
So then they get.
I resent. First of all, I resent that mine is the first name that pops up there. I'm sure I'm the only one that's ever either broken up or been broken up.
No,
I mean,
but not as publicized.
I write a book about it.
It's not as publicized.
And I understand, Debbie. It is that feeling of loss, and,
of course.
it was actually 6 months, I think, is what
it was.
That represented.
Your world's going to end. That's what it feels like.
And that was kind of, again, everything in this film is dead on the nose. I mean, there's no
What's
subtlety
wrong with
at all.
being dead on the nose? I mean, that's.
I'm just saying. I'm Okay, nothing. You're
Thank
right.
Thank you.
Nothing. But to call it the greatest rom-com
No,
ever
she
made,
said for her it is.
I'm just okay. I'm going to disagree with her and say I think she's wrong.
So which rom-com do you think is better, Ralph?
I can't. I have no idea. I can just tell you how I felt. I can just tell you how I felt about this one. Was just too on the nose, and she was not a nice character.
No, she wasn't.
She was,
but this was the most Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant movie ever made. Like, she really just leaned into the fact that this was written for her. I mean, it's a beautiful part for her because it humanizes who she is as a human being, especially at the dinner scene with the whole family. With the wheelchair girl and the ugly sister and all these people.
Wait
the kid
a
who had
The
no
wheelchair
job.
girl, the ugly sister.
Well,
I want to apologize to all our subscribers out there. That was a little insensitive.
I'm just saying.
I would have been a roommate too.
Wow.
The happiest person in
The
that room
wheelchair woman.
was the
Describes herself as the googly-eyed girl.
the googly-eyed. Okay, I termed it ugly. She's not ugly. She's quite adorable. I agree. She was adorable. But she was playing. She said, "I'm the ugly one," and she ended up with Spike, who was super. So I just found it way on the nose. Like the whole thing where they all tell the saddest story that they could tell. They win the brownie, right? It's a good scene. It's a funny scene,
But with good humor.
I enjoyed it,
And it didn't do the cliche. They would have all agreed that she had the hardest life.
That's right.
But they're like, bullshit,
Right.
Yeah. No, I did like the button at the end of that one. But Julia Roberts just leaned in, and Hugh Grant. Is this the movie or Four Weddings and a Funeral that really put Hugh Grant on?
No, but he had a slump. Yeah, Four Weddings and a Funeral was his big one. He had a slump. This was not his comeback, but this was his next big. This was like his biggest hit ever. Was this?
Yeah.
But he had a couple of misses before he did this.
Are we talking about the reality bites when he was with the transvestite?
No, I don't. Was that between this and that other in Four Weddings?
I don't know.
No, that was later. That was after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there was this. I know what you're talking about. There was a few movies there where they tried to do like a serious one, and there was one movie he did with like Gene Hackman about like doctor. Like,
he was a doctor, right?
Where I don't even know, they're doing something terrible.
Well, Hackman was getting homeless people and experimenting on them. And
was that okay? There we go. But the point is they did for a little while. They tried to make
wheelchair
people
dramatic
leading man, and it just never looked realistic. It never.
I know, but this was the most Huey Grant. This was it. It's all this stumbling and bumbling. And
that was Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Well, he's doing it in this one too. And Debbie, you're right. He's adorable, and she's gorgeous. It's Julia Roberts at her most beamiest.
But he's more beautiful than her.
Well, I mean that's
the way I feel.
I don't think that, but
Julia Roberts, she sometimes, I don't know.
I just couldn't totally get into the rom-com of this one. Like a rom-com, when it gets me in hard. Like the end of Say Anything, when they're on the plane together. I believe those two are going to be together forever. And this one did the typical thing most of them do at the end, where they're sitting on that bench and he's rubbing her belly like a baby's going to save and make everything wonderful. And it's just, I couldn't.
That's how you interpreted that. That's how you interpreted that.
My cynicism kicked up really hard.
No kidding.
Now, did I love the scenes like where he's playing the hound and whatever the horse and
hound
reporter?
Yeah.
There's some really well done scenes in here that are very, very funny. And I like where they went, including the dinner scene, including the hound, including Spike. That guy playing Spike is fearless. What he was doing with his body for this film.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if this was his first film too. I don't know if that was his first. What's that actor's name? Drew?
Rise Ifans, I think his name is.
All I know is he's in The Replacements. He's a kicker.
He's a kicker. Yeah.
Ethan.
But I was too cynical. Like, it's too perfect on the nose. This is Julia Roberts. And like, she would never in a million years that would not happen in a million years, that she'd just walk in and instantly fall in love with this bookish, bookstore owner guy. It would just never happen.
She married that one musician.
And then when she had the freak out,
she married Lyle Lovett.
Okay, but I mean, still, he's a famous dude. It's not like he's not famous.
Well,
yeah, but he's ugly.
Julia.
Well, again, why do you call him ugly and I can't call the other girl ugly? You guys are such
You can say guys are ugly.
Oh, I can't.
I think it was a wheelchair girl.
All right, I've been talking. Anybody else? Jump in, because I want to know what other people.
Let me jump in. Can I defend this film a little bit?
Please do.
Okay. Debbie was like crying, and she's like, Sean, are you crying? I got to admit, I got a little teary-eyed. What I think is, this is a well-written piece. Yeah, the music is 100% on the nose. But I think they take the sting off it by a lot of times. They use alternate versions of the song,
but it's
which were probably recorded specifically for the movie.
Yeah.
But I just think it's incredibly well written. The Hugh character is fantastic. I just love the way he treats his customers at his store. Like at the end when the guy's coming in and he's talking to her, he's like, just stop,
he arcs.
go, leave,
Because he's a British guy, and they're self-contained. And then finally, when he tells this guy he's starting to explore, getting into the world again, because his first wife left him. And you know how that is when your first wife leaves. And then, you have that, there's that, whoops, there it is. And you just slowly get back into the world of, I'm going to fight. I'm going to get back into the fight here. A lot of times.
Yeah, but he gave up. All I could think of was Emily Mortimer, the woman called the Perfect Woman. That's Emily Mortimer, who was, in the newsroom and stuff. And that was one of the dates that he just passed on because he had this infatuation with.
And you want to know why he went with Julia Roberts? Because she was a little prickly. Men like that. Men
love little pricks.
They like women who are sometimes bitchy.
I don't.
And I'm so nice. I
that scene where she freaks out about the paparazzi. She treated him like a piece of dirt, which is why he broke up with her.
That's why he liked her, because.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I don't know if that's why.
Like a dog.
He was like, okay. Anyway, anybody else?
I'm going to throw this out here. I've never gotten Julia Roberts. I don't get it. I don't think she's that pretty. I don't think she's that funny. I don't think she's that good an actress.
Wow.
After I saw this film, I literally thought to myself, I think this would have been awesome if she wasn't in it. At all, though. At all. It would have been to me, I was like, what an interesting idea, because I found everybody else in the film, and like you said, Sean, I thought it was well written. I liked everybody else in the film, but I was almost like, what if they had made an independent movie about this guy and their reactions to him dating somebody super famous, but we never actually see the famous person? And how cool it would have been where if she just shows up at the very end. And not a situation where is he crazy? Has he gone off the deep end? But in a way that's like a non-traditional romantic comedy where we never see one of the two main people in love, right? Everything else could go the same. You'd have to take out some of the scenes, but I don't know. I just felt I guess maybe at one point, I just felt like the kind of she's just playing herself. And exactly. I don't know. It just really, the whole woe is me. I get it. Being a star is not as easy as it sounds, but at the same time, sometimes I still feel you kind of asked for it,
Exactly.
I'm not super, but the funny thing is I liked Hugh Grant in the film. I liked everybody else in the film. There's just something about, her playing this megastar playing a megastar, and kind of talking about, and my favorite part was when they basically said, I don't care that you're hungry all the time. Somebody else gets the brownie. You know what I mean? I thought that was really great, because you're right. Normally you kind of expect them to be like, oh, your life is so hard. Not only are you world famous and have, ridiculous amount of money, you're going to have our sympathies too.
Well, is that before or after the lady in the wheelchair says, oh, and by the way, we can't have kids? I forget where that part.
That was
I
after.
don't really remember where that part.
After Julia Roberts' story was after that.
Yeah.
She was the last story.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? The funny thing about what you said, Chris, is that it's just all how regular people see these movie stars. We're just regular people, and
people are always come to me and say, "You're Sean Murphy from that podcast."
It's who cares, right? Who cares? Nobody cares. These actresses and actors, they're doing a job of pretending. And that's fine, but we don't get into any, celebrity or anything, like when Lou Diamond Phillips came to town. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, we did. You did.
I must digress. We did get carried away a little bit, but they're just people. They're just like regular people.
Well, I think that's why having Julia Roberts do this was to humanize. I mean, she didn't write it, so it's not her doing it. Somebody did it for her. But that whole thing where she's saying, I haven't eaten since I've dieted since I was, 10 years, dieting for 10 years, operations about her chin and her nose. It's like, okay, is that in her $15 million for her movie? Is that really Julia Roberts, or is it, is she just playing? But again, like Chris is saying,
here's one thing. Any movie you make with a star of Julia Roberts caliber, you are rewriting that script for her.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sure.
And I imagine
Hugh Grant
isms Hugh came up with too, because that's all his stuttering and all the stuff he does. That's what he brings to that table. Drew, say something. You got anything you want to add? You're muted. You're muted.
He's speechless.
That's amazing. She took your breath
earphones
away.
on.
You take my breath away.
No,
still got nothing.
Well, let me say something.
Check it. Go ahead, Sean.
I want to lay on with what Chris was saying. The thing, I didn't get a chance because we jumped off, but one thing I really loved about this movie is I thought it had a really good sense of community in Hugh Grant's life. His friends, the Notting Hill neighborhood, it just seemed like a real place. And I could see this real guy having real friends like this. They weren't, all just, a lot, this is one of the.
I want to go to Notting Hill. I would like to visit Notting Hill.
I just thought it was a place. I thought the people felt authentic. I liked it. I liked their interplay. I really liked Spike a lot.
Like I said, I thought all the supporting players were great. And maybe it's just, like I said, I've just never, I don't think, I have heard some stories about Julia Roberts. One from person who actually.
What did you hear, Chris?
Hold on. Let's take it. Let's see if let's give Drew a chance to get his mic fixed, and then we'll pick this up. Hold that thought, Chris. Okay.
Okay.
Hold that thought. Still not. See what Drew. Yeah.
He said he's going to leave and come back.
Okay. He's going to reboot. Let's not say anything until he comes back. We can keep talking.
If you want to talk about Drew, talk about him now. He's off.
No, I want to say about Chris, to me, I may have liked this film more with Andy McDowell or Rene Russo in it. But not what's that woman who was in Basic Instinct?
Renee Zellweger.
Sharon Stone.
No, Renee Zellweger.
Tripplehorn?
No, no, Sharon Stone. I don't know. I don't like Julia Roberts. I hear that she's not in. I could be wrong, but I hear
she's a bit of a diva.
She married
a is that true? Now that surprises me.
Man.
I'm just saying that let me put it this way. A guy that I worked with at a different company, he used to usher at the Kennedy Center, and he was her escort at one point. Like, how they have people walk them down when they're at the Kennedy Center and stuff like that. And he said, let's just say she was not America's sweetheart to me.
Yeah.
What did she do to him?
He wouldn't elaborate, but he just said
that's not. Maybe it's probably true.
In a case, she could be having a bad day. She could be
right. What do we expect? Do we expect these people to be down to earth? And that's not. But that's not why I didn't. Maybe.
Wait, are we wasting all this talk? We got to wait till we get back on camera. What are we doing?
No, we're going to be here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Weird thing. Okay.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Thank you for bearing with me.
Here we go.
No problem.
Box moved.
Oh, that screws everything up? Well, who cares? The box
No, I'm just going to put the little bump in there.
Should we just start over from the beginning then? Is that what you're saying?
No, please.
So let's talk about Moonfall.
No. So Chris just relayed a story that a friend of his was a usher at the Kennedy Center, and Julia Roberts wasn't the nicest human being in the world. So, and that's now.
And Drew, once again, that's coming from somebody from coming.
Could be hearsay.
Right. And hopefully your friend the usher doesn't watch this show.
And anybody that says Julia Roberts isn't adorable, I don't know, Chris. I don't know what you're looking at.
I don't know what it is, man.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm not. It's it's just.
But okay, good. Go ahead. Drew. I don't want to keep.
Yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Let's stop talking about me.
Well, it's okay if she doesn't do it for you. Like Andie MacDowell has been in about a lot of movies that I liked, like Four Weddings and a Funeral, and she did not, or Groundhog Day. She never did anything for me as an actress or anything until.
It's funny, Drew. While you were out,
Magic
I was
Mike
saying
2.
I would have liked Andie MacDowell in this film better.
Magic Mike 2, is that what you just said?
Yeah,
that's when you really liked her?
Yeah, she's great. It was the first one. I can't remember, but she's great, and she's great in the movie we watched together, Ready or Not.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She's very good.
Chris, if you want to if you feel like giving Julia Roberts another chance, you should check out Homecoming, which was an Amazon Prime series.
Okay.
It's a drama. It's beautiful and strange, and she's very, very good. And she's just a subdued, dramatic performance. And they're not trying to make her like she's regular.
Oh, she did a great one about playing a detective whose daughter gets killed early on. I can't.
Secret of Her Eyes. I thought that was pretty good. I like the original too.
Yeah, she does a good job, but okay. I just think she was overpowering in this film. Go ahead, Drew.
Well, what I was going to say is Richard Curtis has written a lot of stuff that I really like, and Notting Hill is low on that list. I don't dislike the movie. It also came out in 1999 when some of the greatest movies ever came out week after week after week. And, after this movie, he wrote Love Actually, which he wanted to basically make the ultimate romantic comedy. And I think that that's a much more successful movie with that. It's big and ridiculous. But I was looking over his credits. First of all, he wrote The Tall Guy, which is a Jeff Goldblum romantic comedy with a musical version of Elephant Man, which is amazing.
Blackadder.
He wrote Blackadder and Mr. Bean, and he wrote episodes of what's it called? A Number One Ladies Detective Agency, which I really liked. He also wrote War Horse, which is my favorite Steven Spielberg movie. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch again because it's so intense and insane. But I realized, as much as I like Love Actually and I like About Time, if I think about Richard Curtis and I really connect emotionally, and it's also got Bill Nighy in it, he did an episode of Doctor Who where Vincent van Gogh is the center of the story. Including at the end, they actually bring him forward to see that he is so esteemed because he, died penniless and everything. And the humanity of that and the beauty of that it was so amazing and so incredible. And I don't feel that in this movie. I think it's a nice movie. I don't have a problem with Julia Roberts. I like the Alec Baldwin cameo. He's kind of funny. He's a dick. But I don't know. Like if it has a scene that you love and that's something that resonates with you, like I get that. That's fine. But I would like the cast more than anything else. Like it's just stacked with all these people who've gone on to all these other big things, Downton Abbey and all this other stuff. So it was pleasant to return to it. I don't think I've seen it since I saw it in the theater in 1999.
And I will say what I got out of it, and this is being recently married, was the message I took was when you're lucky if you find somebody who you can get along with. And the one couple in the scene is the married couple, the wheelchair lady and her husband, the terrible cook. They loved each other. The scenes where he's carrying her up the steps and he makes her come in the car at the end and all that. There were people in that film that I was, and even the googly-eyed girl getting together with Spike. Those were nice things that happened. And the one throwaway line where that kid that works in the store with the guy and the googly-eyed girl goes, nice.
I love Ghost.
Nice cardigan. Yeah, the whole ghost thing. But to me, Julia Roberts, I couldn't just get past that it was her, and never in a million years would I think this would happen. And if I can't suspend that disbelief for a rom-com, then I'm in big trouble.
Well, it's based on a true story. I guess Uma Thurman dated somebody she went to Eton with, and he was just a regular civilian, and Richard Curtis knew about that, and I guess he thought, I wonder if I could write a story about that. And he did, and that story is fine. Like, I don't find the movie super compelling or anything. And I mean, my taste in romantic comedies are going to run more to Silver Linings Playbook or Lars and the Real Girl and stuff like that. And that's why I think it's interesting that I like Love Actually as much as I do, because it just leans into every possible convention of everything. Yeah, and it's just very funny and sweet.
You break that film down. Those people are mean in Love Actually. There's some
oh my God, yeah.
It's that podcast that turned you on one of your favorite movies.
I actually watch it every Christmas, but it's all right, John. We haven't heard from.
So Ralph, what is your favorite rom-com?
I mean, you can ask me that. I got to look on a list. I can't answer that one. I'm trying
Big
to.
Not Harry Met Sally. Not
That's a good one. I'd say,
Seattle.
Say Anything I like.
Shaun of
Say
the
Anything
Dead.
maybe my.
I'll have to look. I'll look at a list and tell you, because I know they're out there. There are some that really get me. I'm into the couple, and I want to. And maybe it's because she was so famous. I just couldn't believe that it would happen. So it's hard to. I liked even. High Fidelity. High Fidelity is one of those.
It's
a great one.
Oh, I love High Fidelity. Okay,
High Fidelity.
This is falling further and further down the list.
I like that movie too.
Right. So, John, we haven't heard from you yet.
Well, I thought I had seen this, but I think I only saw a scene from it. So I had never seen the entire movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a sweet movie. It was Hugh. I just say Hugh Jackman again. Hugh Grant was at his quirkiest, and I'm not a huge Julia Roberts fan. I loved her in Mystic Pizza. I like her. I loved her in Erin Brockovich. She's funny because they kept saying how beautiful she was, and I think she's beautiful, but not. Like when I think of beautiful, I don't think of her because I think her mouth is so big. I think that's what it is about her. I'm just telling you the truth. But
down her forehead, she's got.
But I will say that I really enjoyed her in this movie because she did have kind of a mean streak in her, but it worked with his character because how many of us have been in love with someone who treats us like absolute garbage? And you still love them and you still want to be with them, as awful as they are to you. And you could see that's what he was going through. It definitely had a 4 Weddings and a Funeral vibe of that movie with Kenneth Branagh. With I don't remember what it's called, something about his friends. It definitely had that English vibe to it, much more than like an American film. So I thought their chemistry was good. It worked for me. I thought the scenes, like at the end, when he obviously is in love with her, but realizes they can't be together because of everything, especially when he overheard her dismissing him. Her pain in that scene was just like, you're just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Just, she loves you. Just take her. I thought that was really powerful. And the fact that he fought that because you could see how much he loves her. But he just, I thought that scene was really strong. And I was actually at the end, they went on that bench on that first date that they have, and she's pregnant, and it ended on a happy note. And frankly, the movies I've been watching lately are very cynical and dark, and a movie like this, just, happily ever after, I enjoyed it because I haven't seen one like that in a long time, and I enjoyed both the performances. I enjoyed everybody in the cast. I think Hugh Grant really shined in this more than her. But I thought she was very good in it, and I could see how he could fall in love with her. I could.
Yeah, but what I did like is he still had that doubt because he said she does that line about I'm just a girl who wants a guy to be in love, and she's doing that Julia Roberts tearing up that she does. And even he said, she's a pretty good actress. Right. So she could have been acting that whole
time. And when they were telling the stories, she lied.
Right.
That whole story,
and the whole time she had a boyfriend that she never told him about in the first place. So
she was not. But again, I mean, it's like, and I would love to know. Everyone's talking about maybe they rewrote the script for Julia Roberts and whatever. I just wonder how much of that character is really Julia Roberts. I mean, I have no idea because I don't know anything about her personally. But I wonder. I think I know when she read the script, she wanted to do it. John. She absolutely wanted to do this. And the 15 million number is the number she got for this movie. That's why she picked that number. When she said, how much did you make on your last? That was a funny scene when the guy didn't know who she was. Yeah. How much did you make? 7,000, 8,000 pounds, 15 million. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was really funny.
That dinner scene was one of the standouts.
What was that?
She married a cameraman. And they had, as far as I know, their relationship is still going strong.
Well, but she's been married a couple times.
Well, yeah, but to Lyle Lovett,
right?
And then there's the cameraman. Danny is his name, and she's crazy about him.
Yeah,
we'll check on that.
But one thing he said, John, about the bench. So Sean had an idea. He said when we saw because that's the same bench they were sitting on, the bench in the garden where the woman died from cancer. And the guy had this bench in memoriam. So Sean said, I think that's the same bench. There's living in the garden. where they first broke into the garden.
Yeah.
You know, they have a lot of that in New York. You know, where people get the gardens and they fence them in.
Wow.
So nobody else but
That is, Sean, that's an amazing observation.
That got auctioned off, by the way. That bench got auctioned off.
Did it really? How much?
Yeah. I don't know. It was actually a guy who bought it for a woman who in a relationship, and the relationship broke up. So he ended up giving it to some museum or something. And actually, the blue door in the house also got taken off, and they auctioned that off.
Well, that was Richard Curtis's real
Yeah,
house.
that was his place. Yeah.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
So
Look, I think this movie it's sweet and it's funny and it's a trifle, and there's nothing wrong with trifles. It's pleasant. It's basically Roman Holiday with a happy ending, and there's not really anything wrong with it. I mean, it literally ends at a press conference and stuff. And you know, Roman Holiday is beautiful and fun until it rips your heart out, and this one didn't do that.
Right.
So that was nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say, like, I can't put this in the same category as Roman Holiday.
It's not. It's not structurally, in terms of the people from different worlds that can't be together and all that stuff. It's definitely not. It's definitely not cut from the same cloth. I don't mean to make that direct a comparison at all, but it just feels like, you know, the two worlds, which is a classic, you know, story anyway. You know, Princess and the Pauper kind of stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it's not one that's going to last, you know, in my mind for the rest of my life. But when I'm watching it, I was smiling, I was laughing, I was hurting for him, you know, and at the end I was hurting for her when she admitted she loved him. So I you know, like I said, it was just something different, something I haven't seen like that in a long time, and I liked it. Just reminded me of the old stuff, you know, the old movies that I love. You know, it kind of had that kind of that flavor to it, and that's why I enjoyed it. So
you know, that's a good point, because, you know, if you like movies that are different versions of these classic films, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is a fantastic movie and a fantastic inverted romantic comedy and all this other stuff, but you wouldn't appreciate it if you didn't have the classic form of those older movies and of movies like this that try to do it. Like I had totally forgotten. I actually watched a romantic comedy last night that I hadn't seen before. It's called Venom. Let There Be Carnage. And it's got great patter and bickering and all sorts of stuff. And I believe the relationship. And I think that's what's most important. And if you watch this movie and you don't like Julia Roberts, you don't care about her, if you don't believe their relationship, then that's the problem with any romantic comedy at all. If you like 500 Days of Summer, I just didn't care. I like both of those actors, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel. I just didn't care. So it's not going to move me. And if you don't like Julia Roberts, it's going to put you off of it anyway.
That's interesting, because I really, really liked 500 Days of Summer. But
yeah, I mean, people love it. They love it.
But again,
I
think the Julia Roberts aspect of this is probably what makes it not work. Because for me, and maybe Chris, you're thinking the same thing, because you go in a movie like 500 Days of Summer, Zoe's always playing some cute little ingenue.
Adorkable.
Yes Man. You ever see Yes Man with Jim Carrey? That's another romantic comedy.
Elf.
Yeah. But it's like the Julia Roberts aspect of it is what just took me out. I didn't believe that she would walk in and kiss him like she did in that first thing. Now maybe she's going through.
Now wait a minute, Ralph. He's so handsome. Come on.
Yeah, that's what you say. You say that.
When a guy is when a man is.
So you see a handsome guy like that, you go to a bookstore, you'll just plant a kiss on him.
Oh my God, haven't we all?
First of all, it wasn't in the bookstore. I was in the apartment after they had.
Okay, all right, whatever, but that was that same day.
Well, but I mean, but you're misrepresenting what happened.
Oh my gosh, I gotta tell you, you know, so many times, I work with a lot of women, mostly women in the blood bank are just, you know, we're working.
Women in the blood bank.
Because
there are certain type of women in the blood bank.
What is going on?
There is this, you know, the woman, you know, the med techs, you're working like a dog, right? You're mostly picking up like all kind of crazy shifts. You're working doubles, triples, all that shit. And
having sex in the closet.
And you don't really have time to date or get involved, right? But so many stories you hear about, like, doctors, you know, I don't know. I don't want to.
Where is this going, Deb?
Where are you going with this?
Where is this going,
We're talking
Deb?
about kissing cute guys in bookstores.
Women in the blood banks are crazy.
All right. Let's rate.
All I can tell you is,
Wait a minute, did you see
I did a lot of dinner.
Wait, did you see the Playboy pictorial from 1996? Women of the Blood Bank. I tell you, hot.
No, I did not see that one.
I did a lot of dinner theater, and I was well known in my community, and I just wanted everyone to know that I was just a normal guy. I wasn't that guy they were seeing on the stage. So I think that's why I like the movie so much, because I totally related to Julia Roberts. You guys don't know what it's like. A woman came up to me when I was working retail who saw me in a play, and she said, "Did you used to do plays like 5 years ago?" I go, "Yeah, you used to be so talented." That's what she said to me. I said, and then I died. What happened?
And you said, Mom, what are you doing, Mom? Go home.
So you know what?
Not with that face.
No, back then I was thinner.
Oh, okay.
I was thinner back then.
All right, let's rate it, Chris.
It's funny. Like I'm going to give it a Yippee-Ki-Yay, believe it or not, because I really, like I said before,
other than Julia Roberts, you really liked
Julia
it.
Roberts, and that's just like a weird. That just may be one of those weird things. You know how sometimes you just like somebody.
Do you like anything she's in? Oh, be honest. If you don't, that's fine. But anything?
I can't. I'm having a hard time remembering a Julia Roberts movie that I was like, oh, I like that.
What's the one she won the Oscar for?
Erin
She won 2
Brockovich.
Oscars. Erin Brockovich.
I never saw Erin Brockovich.
Oh,
She was very good at it.
She was so funny.
Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson. She talked about his butt in this film.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. He does his own butt work.
So your wife hates Ethan Hawke, and you hate Julia Roberts.
Well, hate's a strong word. You don't hate her.
She's like a bad person, but like.
No, I don't mean as an actress. I don't mean as a human being.
I don't know what it is. I've
just because your friend said she
never
wasn't
quite
nice.
seen the appeal.
She didn't seem friendly to her brother Eric. She seemed like she didn't like her.
I thought there were some issues back in those. But never mind. John, what's your rating?
I give it a Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Okay. Drew?
I'd give it a Yippee-Ki-Yay. I mean, I'm a little sad right now because they just discontinued Choco Tacos, but there was still enough room in my heart for a nice little romantic comedy. Even though it's really a big romantic comedy because it's a big
What is
Hollywood
Choco
movie.
Taco?
It was sweet. It was sweet.
I'm going to give a Yippee-Ki-Meh.
Okay.
I can't get. There's some set pieces in there I loved. I loved the dinner scene.
Come on,
I loved his hound and horse and hound thing
Horse
he
and
did
hound,
where they
yeah.
thought
That
he was
scene
a
was
reporter.
funny.
Not the
He's
one
good.
at the
He's
end,
very
but the
good.
one in the middle where they think he's a the
How
reporter.
about Ralph? How about the one scene where they kiss the front desk man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's all right because the Japanese guy thought that's tradition. I love that quirky stuff. You know, the little guy with that worked with him with the cardigan. She made and the googly eye girl goes, "Nice card," she says as she's walking out. And he got all happy about that. And he looked good at the wedding too. I couldn't get past Julia Roberts, so that's it. And I love her. I find her attractive, and I like the film she's in. I couldn't believe it. So, Sean,
I got teary eyed watching it with my wife.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
I like the film. I like the writing. I thought there's a lot of sharp. Yes, it's a yay.
You say a Yippee-Ki-Yay. It's not just a.
But
yay.
you know, my main problem with the film is Julia Roberts.
I don't know.
I wish they'd have cast Eric Roberts in it.
Oh, that would have been an interesting choice.
I think she's very attractive. She's a very pretty girl. She's a pretty woman, I think.
Oh boy,
I've heard that.
But she's not the kind you take
Put
home.
that ball on the tee.
All right. So now we're going to do the spin. We're going to do a little different version of this. We're going to spin. Whoever wins, the idea is you're going to bring a film that you've never seen. Now, we're going to trust that you've never seen the film, but that's the idea here. You pick a film that you either wanted to see, like we used to do this on Movie Strange, where I would pick a film that I wasn't sure I wanted to see because it might be too grotesque, but I wanted to try it anyway. I'm not saying pick a bad movie like that, but just a movie that you may have never seen. So let's see who's going to be the first victim of this beautiful setup we got going here. The excitement is mounting.
Where's our music?
You've got to be kidding.
Oh wow! Wow!
Now that is unbelievable.
That's bullshit.
That's
is what
not.
that is.
That's not. That's legit.
Oh no! Yeah,
that is
totally
legit.
random.
All right.
Let's see where the wheel
Now,
goes.
now, it could also be a movie that you have never ever fully watched. Okay, and I'm going to surprise everybody because the film I already know the film I'm going to bring.
Of course you do.
I'm going to bring Citizen Kane.
Oh
my!
Okay, because I have not watched this one straight through forever. And I want to get everybody's opinion on this film.
You could have knocked me over with a feather with that
back to film school films. I'm going to do Citizen Kane so that prevents John from ever bringing it again.
Is it the original or the remake with Julia Roberts? I want to make sure.
I want to see that one too. Well, I am. So next week we'll do Citizen Kane.
Make sure you watch the commentary one too, Ralph.
Roger Ebert.
Yeah, it's great. There's another one. There's actually 3 of them.
I have a laser disc, so I will I'll spin the disc up.
But watch it without the commentary first.
Don't tell me how to watch this film.
No, but okay? I mean, because I want you to really appreciate the movie.
I will.
Are you going to watch it on one of your nights with your new wife?
I'm not sure I'm going to make her watch it. I'll ask her. She may want to see it.
Well, not if it's a Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday. I mean, only on those days. Right?
I got to pick the day. One of those days. All right, so Citizen Kane.
I can't believe you picked
I'm sorry to our viewers that we're going to do another film school
Citizen Kane, I can't believe it. You just made my week. I was dreading your choice. All right.
There's a million of them I could have picked, but I thought I'd do this one.
I like this idea. I think this is good because it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
You might like it, you might not. Your own film. I kind of find that interesting.
Ralph,
has everyone here seen Citizen Kane other than Ralph? I assume everybody's seen it.
I mean, I've seen bits and pieces. I've never fully, I haven't watched it from beginning to end.
Okay, Drew, you said you haven't seen it in a long time?
Yeah, I mean, decades probably.
Oh, okay, good.
I watched it.
Debbie, what were you going to ask me?
I watch it all the time.
What made you think of this?
Partly because we talk about it so much.
And you didn't want me to pick it.
And I kind of...
he took the pick away from me.
I'm blocking John.
Boy, that is like vicious. It's like a
block one.
So I killed 2 birds with one stone.
That's Kane blocking.
It's a win-win.
Kane blocked me.
Kane blocked you.
And we're going to do the whole show.
Really
Everyone's going to be black and white.
Nice. I like that.
Oh, great.
Okay?
I like that.
So wear whatever colors work in black and white.
I got to get some prosthetics so I can look like old Kane, you know?
Should we all put our cameras at dramatic angles as well? Or
that's a great idea.
That's great. Yeah. We got to do deep focus, right? We got to do deep focus.
Do all kinds of stuff. All right, so that's next week's film. All right?
Excellent.
John, I got to say one thing. If you put the camera at the bottom, like they did in Citizen Kane,
below the floor,
look really fat.
You're right. It could. It could. That's correct.
I don't know. This angle seems to be doing the same thing.
Sorry.
Okay. Can't count on the light.
Yeah.
Well, they say the camera adds 40 pounds. So.
Is it 40? All right, everybody. Have a good week.
You too.
Stay healthy. And we'll see
we
you
won't
next
be skipping any weeks soon. I feel bad for all our subscribers out there, but we skipped a week. But if you like it, still like it, smash the like button.
We took a much needed break.
No, I know, but our fans really went crazy.
We couldn't go on knowing that Tony Dow was dead.
Well, yeah. I mean, thank God he's not. Knock on wood.
I mean, that's why we're here, because he's alive.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Tony Dow. I didn't know he was such an important part of our podcast, but.
Well, yeah, he was Wally. You know, he was Wally. Hey, Beef.
All right, everybody. Have a good week. See you next week.
See ya.
See you guys.